Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Zaid with the Muslim Sales Guys, and today we're going to be going over the objection handling framework that has allowed us to make Muslims $1 million in the info product space. So, there are 4 steps to this, and one thing I want to say before even jumping into any of objection handling, right? The goal of the discovery is to have an objectionless close. This is very important, which means by the time you get to the end, there shouldn't be any objections because you should have discussed everything that would stop somebody from being able to move forward before the pitch. Inshallah, if you don't know what I'm referring to, you can go back and watch previous videos. Now, the first step to the objection handling framework is to acknowledge and validate the objection. And it's very important to let them know you understand where they're coming from and that it actually makes sense. And this will allow you to be on their side later on when it's time to overcome it, meaning it's both of you versus the objection, not you versus them, right? So as an example, you have the lead saying, okay, so I like the process, but how do I know that it actually works? And you as a closer. So based off of our call, I had a feeling you'd ask that. And that's actually a valid concern. The reason why I put LOL here, not really professional, but it works because we're not doing professional, we're doing human interaction. Alhamdulillah. Now, so I put LOL here because I like to chuckle through this, right? I like to laugh, I like to make light of it so that you actually have more wiggle room, and it allows them to also be open to what you're saying. Just yeah, so based off of our call, I had a feeling you'd ask that. That's actually a valid concern. Then step 2 is to reconfirm their conviction. Now, you just need to make sure they're actually committed to changing their circumstances and that the goal is something that's serious for them. So I like to do this through questions and not statements. The reason why, the reason behind reconfirming their conviction is that it allows you to position yourself as someone who is trying to help them. As an example, you're like, okay, now before answering that, right, I just want to confirm that this is something you're actually serious about and want to change. I just want to confirm that. And if they don't seem to understand why you're asking that question, I even take it a step further to explain why I asked the question. The reason why I'm asking is because oftentimes people say whatever the objection is, but in reality, they're just not really serious about wanting to do it. And then they can say, oh, okay. And then almost 99% of the time, the lead would say, no, no, I'm serious about it. It's just whatever their objection is. Now, if the lead is not serious about it, then that's good. You solved the problem or another problem. And the problem you just solved was that, okay, this lead wouldn't have benefited from this anyway. So don't try to close that lead. Let him go. Now, step 3 is to identify and label the objection. Here we're going to dig deeper to make sure we get the actual objection. And sometimes the objection is very obvious and you don't need to dig deep at all. For example, let's say the objection is like finances. They're just like, well, I don't really have that much money right now. Then you know exactly what you're dealing with and you can work your way around that. And then we need to label it. And labeling it is very important because now you have an agreed upon objection that you need to solve together. So it's almost like you can label the bad guy, which is the objection, and you and the lead are trying to fight the bad guy. And this stops the lead from changing the objection on a whim. So sometimes a lead is just afraid of taking that first step. Because of that, they will use any objection they can find in order to make sure they don't take that first step and kind of step out of their comfort zone. So you want to make sure you have an agreed upon bad guy that both of you say, okay, listen, this is the problem. If we solve this problem, then we're good to go. And once they agree to that, they will not change it because they already confirmed what their issue was, right? So once you solve that issue, you're good to go. As an example, right? So you have the closer here, and it's just okay. So just to be clear, right? You just want some proof of this working, and you're ready to go, right? Now the labeling aspect is you saying some proof of this working, right? This is the problem you are solving, and you're ready to go, and you confirmed now that if you solve this problem, then they can get started, right? And then you have the lead. I put yes sir here, okay, guys. Bear with me. Sometimes I get carried away. But yeah, the lead said, yes, sir, okay, right? I really like the process and what you're saying, but for 3K, you can never be too careful, right? Now, the fourth step is to get on their side and solve the problem. So now that we have the actual objection, which is they want some proof of this working, right? They want some proof because they don't want to lose their money. They're willing to spend it, right? But they're not willing to lose it. So now that we have the actual objection, we can solve it. And that's what this is, the closer and the lead on the same side trying to solve the problem, not the closer versus the lead, right? It's not this is not a argument you're trying to have with someone that you're trying to help. Right? So we are helping Muslims make a decision that will change their lives, not trying to bully a Muslim into giving us money. The reason why I'm saying Muslim is because we only work with Muslims, right? So it's even more important that you're giving them every single right. You're not trying to bully somebody and make them make a bad decision. You're only doing this if you know it'll benefit them. So as an example, okay, so I hear you, Akhi. Let's walk through some of our students' wins, right? We definitely don't want you to have any doubt in the back of your mind as you go through this process. Then, boom, share your screen. You walk through the different student wins, blah, blah, blah. Now, problem solved. That's all it is. Just solving your problem. Whatever the problem is, you're solving it. Now, sometimes their problem is actually their mentality, right? Their mentality. And that's when you go from this framework to maybe advice, right? So you get on their side, and you solving the objection is actually you changing their mindset, you changing their mentality. And that goes into the realm of advice, right? But now that you know that they're serious and they really want to change their lives, it's just this wrong mindset that's stopping them. So say it's the mindset. Sometimes you get people that tried something before, but it didn't work. And now they never want to try anything ever again. That's the incorrect mindset. You'll never be anything if you continue with that mindset. So it's actually on you, right, to give them advice so you can help them. Because if they keep that mindset throughout their lives, they will not accomplish much of anything. So sometimes you get on their side and solving the objection is advice. And sometimes solving the objection looks more like this example. Hope this is very beneficial. Inshallah, you can click the link down below if you want to join our community and see a lot more content like this and have a group of people that are all trying to learn sales the honest and correct way. This is Zayn with the Muslim Sales Guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.